So for this week, December 14th through the 20th, the sun will be in gate 11 and the earth is going to be in gate 12.
My two favorite gates, gate 11 I don't have and gate 12 I do.
Ooh, it'll be fun.
A beautiful quick aside, gate 11 is where the larynx dropped about 80,000 years ago. That's just a quick aside, and that's why its opposition is 12. When they dropped, we could articulate more and 12 kicked in. This was our prime evolution, a good, like I said, about 80,000 years ago.
I always love the great information I get out of you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we can see it on our mandala on the body graph wheel. And so the earth is in gate 12, which is standstill or caution. It's a throat gate. And then the sun in 11 is this gate of ideas, and it's an ajna gate.
Yep, one is for thinking, one is for articulating. This couldn't be a more clear polarity, just if you think about it, just in those simple terms. And then when we get into sort of the juice of the gates, you'll see how they really color each other in. It's so good.
I'm excited. So here we have gate 11. This is the gate of peace and the gate of ideas. It is a harmonic condition in the individual or society that permits assessment before renewed action. It's an ajna gate, and it's part of collective circuitry. So collective, you think sharing, and it's part of the sensing circuit. It links up with gate 56, which is stimulation, and the 1156 is the channel of curiosity. So gate 11, this is possibilities conceptualized into ideas, and that ideas are not prescriptions for action. Ideas come and go. And it's seeking ideas of others to stimulate your own reflections and enjoy stimulating others with your ideas, but not indiscriminately. Ideas as verbal expressions, not as manifestations of action, just simply designed to be reflected upon.
And that's so hard for the 11 that is overly conditioned, and it's so easy for the gate 11 being that realizes it's there. It's really a world of difference for these two people, the ones that realize it's there and the ones that don't, because this whole stimulation thing, the 56, it's seeking to be stimulating. It itself is not quite stimulating except to itself.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's stuck. It's stuck in the toy box up here where all the concepts are flying and the measurements and everything is so gorgeous. And here comes 11. It's wanting of gate 56. And it doesn't mind being a seeker. Only gate 56 does. Gate 11 will take it. It loves being a seeker, not necessarily a finder, as long as the seeking can be shared. Because sometimes it does find. Gate 11 is at peace when it recognizes sometimes it does get to share in its seeking, its idea, and that will empower the other. And it can only do that through the abstract act of sensing the right timing. Because the idea is amazing. So yeah, I like this gate. It gives us this gate colors in our stories. All of them.
Oh, that makes sense.
All of them. What is rich? The facts about something that someone tries to write down so we can keep it on a chart, or the story that told us what happened. You know, and it has so much more. The Bible's filled with stories, right? All the texts are. Everything is. We even teach by story and allegory, right? And
oh yeah, that's the best way to learn.
yeah, while all the mental gates will definitely measure and come up with a good analogy, there's no question gate 11 will color it in. It brings it out. When you hear, oh, that's a great analogy, that's very often gate 11 action.
Yeah, I love gate 11. I have it. It's like there's an endless overflowing of ideas. And mine is also hanging. And I have a family member with the 56, and that's like the stimulation. So it's, you have these ideas, and then the 56 is that ability to like stimulate it into verbal expression, to be that story. So sometimes I have tons of ideas, and I'm like, I don't know if they're any good, but they're just ideas. And maybe some of them will stick, but if you can have that relationship, like the ideas will just be flowing all the time. So don't get caught up in them, because they're just flowing, and just like throw them around, see what happens, write a book of them, and then see what is going to actually stimulate them into action and into manifestation in the world.
Absolutely, Moni. Let the ideas feel personal to you, but not be personal when they're not listened to in the moment, because it's so hard to get the right timing for your ideas. So surrender to that. If you don't have the 56, it's not going to come out so easily. And that whole notion that it is trapped up there is actually true. it's not relentlessly, endlessly trapped, but at the moment it's trapped because you couldn't express it. So just
Mhm.
surrender to that. It's no big deal. The other wasn't going to get it anyway.
All right, perfect. Moving on to gate 12. This is
Mm.
standstill, or the gate of caution. This is the quality of restraint and the importance of meditation and inaction in confronting temptation. It's a throat gate, and it's part of individual circuitry. So individual, think empowerment, and it's part of the knowing circuit. Gate 12 links up with gate 22, which is grace, and the 22-12 make up the channel of openness. Gate 12 combines potential for emotional openness through listening with a social grace and charm that's highly attractive to others. Mood changes may cause an antisocial side to emerge, and it's recognizing and acting on correct timing is dependent on honoring your mood, right? So openness
Mm.
and attentiveness are gifts of grace that impact strangers, right? Grace in action is the key to empowerment.
Yeah, that grace coming from 22 is really, it's the 22 that is the caution of the 12. The 12's caution and reassessment and the importance of that meditation is the the warrior, the semi warrior that's like sitting there meditating on what to do about the thing and about the interaction that's coming up, because the confrontation of the temptation is the temptation to speak to 22, because it's emotional. It's the temptation to involve yourself in the emotional wave, which is juicy, just like the thing says, as it's points out, quite accurately, that this is a point where it's very attractive to others. When this is open, that's the thing, and it says can tend to being antisocial. It's more than it will be antisocial. It will go between social and antisocial. This is its protective measure, and the gate 12 itself will articulate all of that. It's there to articulate the romance and articulate and speak and act out its manifesting capacity, right? This is a manifesting gate. There's three of them in the throat, and this is one of three. And this manifesting gate is very sharp. I call it the dagger because it will literally caution itself off. The second line of this channel, if I is something. Let me read it real quick. Purification. That's what it is. It's just burn it all and purify it with fire. Um,
Oh.
it's like, because the caution and because its manifesting voice says, I know I can or not. So when it chooses or not, it knows it can not. That's a manifesting action. That's powerful. It ends up being a caution point that will stop the emotional wave. It will stop any interaction because it knows it can. It's powerful enough to do that. And it will literally slice right into the moment in order to basically stand still. That's the I Ching called it standstill. They didn't call it caution. We call it caution because that's how it lives itself out. But standstill is what they called it for a reason. So very powerful gate of action that stands still in the face of temptation or not.
Oh, that's so rich and juicy.
Mm, it's so good. Well, it's such a powerful gate. It speaks, it says, it does. It does it all. It sings and it dances, right in the
It is that
choreography world.
individual emotional voice.
With that individual emotional voice that's prone to its melancholy, right? There's nothing worth doing. There's nothing worth talking to. There's nothing worth saying. It's just, I'm bored here, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
or don't tell me, or the or not of this is just as sharp. And that's why I called it the dagger last night to our guest that we were reading for. That's gate 12. And it's there to tell the story. So it's got to have this caution because it's there to assist gate 11. It's opposition. And it's there to gate 11 is a fire hose. It's all over the place. It never knows what it can get done. It needs a champion like gate 12 to cut through the thing or not. The thing is or
Mm.
not.
To slow things down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And spit it out. 56 will spit out what the gate 11 has to say. Gate 12 will articulate what to do.
Mm.
Yeah, gate 12 manifests do. So I know I can do or not.
After waiting out that emotional. wave of the
No,
22.
or not,
Or not.
or not, right?
Okay.
But either way, but that, and its intelligence comes in its recognition of how it's operating as it's spitting it out, as it's articulating it. It will tell a story. It's a teaching gate. Gate 12 teaches people. Gate 11 teaches people. Together, this makes these opposition of the teacher.
All right. Well, good stuff.
Mhm.
Moving forward, we have our Incarnation Crosses. And so first up, we have the right angle cross of Eden. People with a philosophical orientation who educate others about the nature of experience and emotions on this plane, perhaps through music or poetry. Then we have the juxtaposition cross of ideas, just highly mutative people who collect universal concepts and can become important teachers or prophets, and they're often fixed in a single direction.
Mm.
And finally, we have the left angle cross of education. This is people of peace, philanthropy, and propaganda, desiring to communicate often inexpressible ideas about human experience. Teaching is still the most profound thing humans do.
It really is the most profound thing. We talk. Second, and there's no shortage of it. And this whole education business is just so perfectly left angle for this particular, cross that comes out of this. This cross of Eden, that where it starts, is the perfect place to launch the rest of this action as we move through this incarnation cross. Eden says, I was good. I had gee whiz ideas, and they were all great. And now my ideas actually have to go to gate 12 work. And now it has to do the metaphor obviously is, getting cast out of Eden, and now suddenly I'm on the material plane. I gotta feed myself and clothe myself. And so this is a hard cross to bear if you don't know what it is. It feels like getting sort of a little bit the raw end of the stick sometimes. And why is it so hard on me? But the thing is, that difficulty is all born from the ideas that aren't yet realized, or they are. Because this person with this in their sun, the juxtaposition explains what's going on in the right angle cross of Eden. And then when you get to the left angle cross, the juxtaposition cross of ideas is explained the rest of the way in the education. Notice it's all surrounding crazy ideas that can come out of anywhere. They start out abstract, they're a voice in the wilderness, and their fear is darkness. And as soon as the darkness assuages, the darkness is no one's listening, the darkness of sound. It's just a dead matte room. No one can hear a thing, there's no more sound. And music and noise and movement that springs ideas. And then the left angle cross of education then spits it out with a certain flair of propaganda. Absolutely. That's gate 12.
Fantastic.
Mm.
All right. Moving forward, we have the hexagrams. And so for the sun in gate 11, it is ideas and it's earth over heaven. And in our I Ching, it says flow. It says hexagram 11 is flow, which I find interesting.
Mm.
And the image reads, heaven and earth communicate, flow. The prince enriches and completes the way of heaven and earth, upholds and assists the order of heaven and earth to support and protect people. Creative force flows through the earth. Potential joins with the space for growth. Everything is possible. The prince, blessed with flow, wholly invests himself in bringing it to fruition in the human realm. He weaves the powers of inspiration and realization together into a synergistic context for creative work to bring out its full potential. He will work actively to bring all people, energies, and areas of life into harmony inside its embrace.
Mm. This is I Ching language for you. You gotta love it.
I know, it's so pretty.
You know what I like about this hexagram is its equalness between the yin and the yang. There's something
Yeah.
very balanced here, so balanced. This feels like the balancing zone, to balance the ideas through the articulation process into the world. Gate 12 impacts things into the world, and gate 11 says, here's some juice.
All right, fantastic. Moving on to gate 12, the earth in gate 12, which is standstill and caution. And in our I Ching, it reads hexagram 12, blocked. And the image reads
Flow and block.
flow and block, right? What a pair.
Can I make a joke?
I mean, if it's appropriate.
The foundation of flow is all yang, and the foundation of block is all yin. It's not funny. Please carry on.
No, it is interesting actually, because if 11 as flow starts with being blocked, that in order to have flow, it's like the yin yang thing. First, you're going to be blocked in order to flow, and first you're going to you can't be blocked if there's not something flowing first.
Right.
So it actually makes sense that 11 is first would be blocked, and then it goes into flowing, because how would you flow if you weren't
I was thinking of far more mundane married sort of setting where the guy is like, no, the kid can play on the motorcycle and mom blocks it.
Oh, that's funny too.
I was going so mundane with it.
No,
Yeah.
but it's interesting because again, it's just giving analogies and a real life example to the exploration of these kinds of energies from this polarity yin yang kind of way.
Yeah, no doubt. And if you do look at it that way, it says mother is the manifester. Because 12 is the manifester, right? It's a manifesting gate, manifesting channel. It ain't 11. 11's starving for juice.
Fascinating.
Yep.
All right. So the image in our I Ching for gate 12 reads, heaven and earth do not interact. Blocked. A noble one uses his strength sparingly to avoid hardship. He does not allow himself honors and payment. Inspiration soars upward. The opportunities for its realization sink even further out of reach below. There is no creative connection between the two. The noble one has noticed that the harder you bang your head against a brick wall, the more bruised you get. And so he is economical with his energy and talents. Equally, he does not look for rewards under this regime. The ones who are rewarded now are not noble. He has other priorities than external results and recognition.
Sounds like the noble one is smart enough to not bang his head against the block.
Mm-hmm. Knowing when to stop, knowing when to pause, knowing when to not be just reacting, right? Because the idea of like the 12 and the 22, if the 22 is emotional and if it's going through this wave, and if that individual wave is just like having a bad day and then it's just going to act out and be in this bad place, it's like it's banging your head against the wall. Like being able to, in that individual awareness of the wave of the 22, ride it out, because it's going to be going through some stuff. And then when it's right and it's settled, then it could act and do accordingly.
In both of these pictures, the earth is the yin, and that's how it also works out, obviously, in our sun earth when we have the polarity in the first place. Right now, the sun is in gate 11, and so therefore 12 would be the earth for anyone born in this during this transit. And the 12 would end up being that yin in this moment. So this is going to be an interesting set of children born between the 14th and what was the date?
The 20th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a friend as a Cross of Eden, and the Cross of Eden, it's like they literally bring the light, because like they bring that light of Eden, but they don't realize that they are the ones that are actually the ones who are bringing the actual quality of light. So they bring all the light and all the joy and all the bubbliness, but then they get lost looking for the light, not realizing that it's coming from them. So tying it all together, what can we give our audience to actually like work with this, right? So grounding ourselves in gate 12 to then shine the 11.
Don't concern yourself with where you stand still right now. Chances are you haven't stood still and applied caution in the face of temptation for a long time. If that's the case, or you didn't know when to, or you applied too much. If that's the case, just start to witness all the times that you didn't, and now you're going to finally, and allow this time to be a fertile time of amazing ideas that stop and be still for assessment, and get your head out of the clouds of must do. Only do according to the right timing, because gate 12 is going to want to do. It's going to want to urge that person to do. If they're a generator, it's going to want them generating do-ness. You know what I mean? If they're, so, and for every other type. So
So, yeah, I always like to start it off with the earth, right? Because the earth is what's going to receive the sun and it's what we're going to ground ourselves in. So, grounding yourself into that standstill and that caution and allowing that fertility to just kind of like build up, like you said, Danny. So, yeah, allowing that earthy, grounded caution, standstill, like wait things out and like let those ideas just percolate, right? There's always those ideas coming in. So, write them down, right? You don't have to act on them, but like maybe have like a little book of all your like wonderful ideas. So then when the time is right and the energy is right, then you can actually act on the ones that are correct and appropriate for you and like have some fun with it.
Writing down would be a really good idea, obviously, for all of this stuff, writing down various ways, but this one particularly so, absolutely. Writing it down to see, because many things will come through this gate of ideas. The peace is in the joy of the idea. It's for the idea's sake. But because it must be shared, sooner or later it gets lost in the wilderness if it can't share, and it's just a depressing place. So, but let the ideas fly through. And if in a given moment your strategy and authority has you up and moving on an idea, then even better. Recognize you're doing it with a purpose, and damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead at that time, right? Whatever. Just notice that the ideas are pouring through, the articulation is going to want to be there. And you don't have to just because you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wait it out, let the ideas develop. And then when it's right and your strategy and authority agree, time to act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good enough. I think we gave people a ton to go with on this one.
Yeah, I think they have something to play with. And yeah, let us know in the comments. Have you been experiencing these energies? How have you been playing with them? Let us know. And yeah, we'll check back in with you next week. Bye.
We'll see you next time.